Hi, before we start the show, I have a very cool announcement. It's something I'm so excited about and something I'm really, really proud of. I have a brand new audio novella premiering on the Chilling app, written by TJ Lee. It's such a cool story, and this app is really, really neat too. For all of you that love telling me that you fall asleep to the podcast sometimes, that you find our voices very relaxing, and especially those of you who like the story episodes I do, you're really gonna dig this. Chilling is an app that has all kinds of spooky stories read by voice actors, and you can put your own custom sounds over them. They've got like rain sounds and fireplace sounds. It's very cool. And right now, you can go listen to the story that I narrated. It's a novella, so it's, I think, about an hour and a half long. So please go check it out. You can get Chilling on both the Google Play Store and the Apple Store, or go to chilling.app.link/deadmeat. One more time, that's chilling.app.link/deadmeat to check out Chilling for my story and all the other really cool ones they've got on there. All right, thanks you guys. On to the show.
What do you think?
I think we're dead meat. Real dead meat.
You're dead meat!
Go ahead and laugh, you guys. If I ever find a little bastards that did this, they're dead meat.
Welcome to the Dead Meat Podcast, your horror safe haven. I'm Chelsea.
And I'm James, and we're married, and we like to get scared together.
Yes, welcome back. We're wearing shoes this week, and it feels weird, because normally we just record in our socks.
Yeah.
But we changed the set, and now you can see our feet, and we had a lot of perverts last week, even though we had socks on.
I specifically wore socks for that reason.
I specifically wore socks also, but no, you know what? People still were getting freaky in the comments about our socked feet. So now we're wearing shoes, and it's throwing me off a little bit.
You ever wonder if having a foot fetish, and I'm not judging it at all, but you ever wonder if it's a blessing or a burden because of how like easily accessible photos of feet are, or just like seeing feet? Like, is that awesome, or does that suck?
Oh yeah, I think it might kind of suck.
Think it might kind of suck?
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah.
There's apparently some of you out there.
Let us know. Is it weird or is it cool?
It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's a different fetish involved in, I don't even know if it's a fetish. Kind of. Eating people?
Yeah. It's a fetish and a crime.
Yeah, that's a crime, brother.
That's a crime. Yeah, this week we're talking about Fresh. And I'm so excited to talk about this movie because we saw it. When did we watch this? Like a few weeks ago?
Yeah, like a month ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out. It's on Hulu if you're in the U.S. I think it's on Disney Plus through Stars. Is it
really?
I think it's like Stars through Disney Plus or some other shit through international.
I love the idea of that being on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Because if someone's on Disney Plus looking for, I really liked that Captain America thing and Sebastian Stan.
Oh, Sebastian Stan.
Oh, what's this other movie? I love that idea very much. Yeah, Fresh is if you haven't seen it yet, it's a cannibal movie.
Yeah, which is all I knew going in, and
That's all I knew too.
And it was still full of surprises.
Yes, it was cool kind of already knowing the conceit. It would have been fun not knowing anything.
Sure.
But it was nice knowing that even though I knew, all right, this is definitely a cannibal horror movie, there was still plenty going on that I was shocked by. And
I just watching it again, because we rewatched it ahead of this podcast, just the thing that I want to say is it's so confidently made.
Yeah, for sure. I just realized I forgot to change the creature lamp to purple.
Oh, it's all boring and there we go. Now it feels like a podcast.
There we go. I was like, something else was off besides the shoes. It was the lamp.
No, the shoes are on.
Okay.
Yeah, Fresh is the directorial debut of a woman named Mimi Cave. Directorial debut, so I don't know anything else about her. But
it's pretty crazy this is a directorial debut. Because, yeah, you're right. It's very proficient. Like, it doesn't feel like a first-time director at all. And it's really impressive.
It's really slick. Like, if you want a fun movie to watch, even though the subject matter is kind of heavy, I think it's a fun movie to watch because of the way it's made and because of the performances.
I think it's a lot of fun, too. It's fun in the way I think American Psycho is fun.
Yes.
Where it's very dark and it finds humor in how fucked up it is. It almost laughs at itself a little bit. It lets itself revel in how fucked up it is, and I really like that.
Rewatching it, we noted, especially because you're about to record the American Psycho kill count, which we're all really excited about, the similarities between these two movies and how it approaches the antagonist, Sebastian Stan, in this case, playing Steven, Brendan, whatever his name is that he's going by, Steve, compared to like Christian Bale. And they're both like these outwardly gorgeous men who can be very charming, but I love how both movies are actually like, no, these guys are fucking lame.
Yeah, I think that's something, and I almost want to put that into the American Psycho script now that we're talking about it, but I think people maybe who haven't seen American Psycho in a while, or like are familiar with it but haven't seen it, have this weird, maybe kind of fake memory of Patrick Bateman being cool and likable, and everyone around him like thinks he's this hot alpha guy. No, he's lame. Like
he's such a fucking dweeb.
Everyone's uncomfortable around him. He doesn't have friends. He
when
talks,
people think that he's someone else, they talk shit about him to him.
Yeah, right. He gets talked shit. Like everyone just dumps on Patrick that whole movie to his face, and it's very funny. And you get a little bit of that with this guy too, where he is extremely, I think Steve is more likable,
much more,
and that's part of the way he lures people in. Granted, Patrick, it's charm, but also he's able to literally pay people to spend time with him. This is more just straight up, he is so charismatic that he can lure women in to his lair, literally his fucking dungeon.
Yeah, they're not the same character at all, but there's similarities. And like you said, Steve is much more functional for one thing, and actually charismatic, likable, especially when he turns the charm on. But you know, when he's dancing around packing the meat, he looks like a fucking dork.
Yeah.
When he gets the dress for her at the end, and it's hideous.
It's an awful dress. We'll talk about it.
You see that he is not this super stylish guy, even though he lives in like a cool modern place.
Even just the way he talks about near the end when she's asking him, you know, when did you start eating people? The way he talks about it is just so like, ugh. It's like when someone talks about, I don't know, like there's ways people discuss music or movies, and I've done this too, where it's like you just are rolling your eyes the whole time, like, wow, it was transcendent, and it truly
like talking about Huey Lewis or Genesis.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like it is such, they are reminiscent of each other. Him talking about eating people and what that means to him, and him imbuing so much meaning into the act of eating a person, where it's like, dude, fuck off. Yeah. Can't just say you're a cannibal. Like you know, just you don't dress it up and be like, oh, it's all about surrender and giving, and it's true. It's like, no, finally, shut the fuck up. I don't know. There are a lot of similarities. Yeah.
Another reason the movie is so fun is because of how slick it is. Looks incredible. Yes. And, you know, I don't want to take away from Ms. Cave, but she does have at least a lot of help with the cinematographer, Pavel Pogorzelski, who is Ari Aster's cinematographer. He shot Hereditary and Midsommar, because the title card and opening credits happen 33 minutes into this movie, which is also just fucking amazing.
So cool. That's so gutsy. You gotta be pretty brazen. Exactly. Yeah. You have to be very confident in the pacing of your story to drop that title card then, and it hits so well. It's so funny. Yeah. And I don't know, I got so excited for the rest of the movie because you just know some shit's gonna go down.
But we had already watched 33 minutes of this movie, and we were like, this movie looks so good. And during the opening credits, I saw director of photography. I was like, I know that name. Oh shit, it's Ari Aster's guy. Well, so the whole thing looks amazing.
I mean, you say, you know, not to take away from Mimi Cave, but I think pointing out that the DP is already such a strong, like he has such a specific style and vision for what the movies he makes look like. And I think that actually speaks to a director's strength. When you're working with a DP where they are so visually distinct and it's stylized, that all kind of has to hang on performances that can carry that. If you're directing a movie that is very obviously stylish like this, where it's visually like things stand out, you know, the shots aren't meant to you're thinking about the shots as you watch the movie. Often that can compete with performances. Do you know what I mean? If something is so visually weird that you're kind of thinking about that and the performances maybe almost fade into the background. But here it feels like they really complement each other, and that is the sign of a director who understands exactly what the DP is doing and how to get actors to give a performance that it's like the idea of a dress wearing someone versus you wearing the dress. In this movie, they're wearing the dress. The dress isn't wearing them.
So yeah, you're speaking about her from a performance standpoint, because directors, it's almost 50-50 performance and the look of the film.
Right.
And actually, but to also compliment her from the visual aspect, the movie looks amazing, as do, of course, Hereditary and Midsommar, but I don't feel like the style of this film is in the same style.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I think that is her knowing what she wants and him being able to execute it.
Right.
Just like he was able to execute Ari Aster's vision in his films.
Right.
So yeah, I like what you said about the performance, coming at it from that angle, and then also from the visual element.
Yeah.
She's obviously very talented, and I'm excited to see what she does next.
That's what's so cool about movies where people in all different departments have a voice and a reputation. It really just feels like when you mix and match people, you get such different weird combinations and stuff. Like this DP, he can work with one director and it's a totally different vibe than someone else. But similarly, you think of Ari Aster's movies, and those are really strong performances that have to carry the visual weight of those movies, and that's kind of happening here too.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Also, the soundtrack, fucking great.
Oh God, I could talk about this soundtrack forever. Like, as soon as they're dancing to a Blood Orange song at one point, and I lost my mind. I fucking love that album.
There's a string quartet cover of Radiohead's Exit Music for a Film, or whatever that song is called. It's just played in the background very lightly, and I clocked it right away. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Paul's listening to Danny Brown in the car.
We get a Lou Reed cover.
Lou Reed, yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
It's
a
just
good
so
soundtrack.
fucking good.
Yeah.
And it just adds to the fun watching of it. It's just so fun. And here's the last thing I'll say before we get into it on a beat by beat thing. This thing is about 2 hours long. It's just shy of 2 hours. And you know us, we like our movies to hover around 90 minutes. Yeah. But this one has so much going on that it doesn't feel long or like there should be things cut. There's always something new happening in the story. There's always a turn being taken with the characters, and it never feels like it's treading water and overstaying its welcome.
It's tight script. Really tight script.
Really good acts to it. That first act, which is kind of a rom-com, setting up their relationship before things...
This movie kind of does the thing, I'm realizing. You remember when we reviewed Red Eye, and the trailer for Red Eye, the first half of that trailer was like a rom-com, and then it was like, oh, actually, this is a horror movie?
Yeah.
And we were kind of saying in that episode, oh, how fun would it be to have a movie that is a rom-com and then it's a secret horror movie halfway through? This is basically the closest I've seen, maybe.
Yeah, because if you didn't know what this was going in, you would start it and think that it was a rom-com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's hints of it being a horror movie, though, at the beginning with her experiences dating and thinking she's being followed home. And there's little things that are not quite right, or the atmosphere is not quite a rom-com.
Yeah.
Should we just get into it?
Let's just get into it. And if you're still watching and haven't watched the movie, go watch it.
It's fun.
It's a fun movie.
And it's, it's relevant in a way that I'm not rolling my eyes at. I don't think there's any extremely deep subtext here.
Dating is hard.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say it's anything where I'm like, oh man, I really have to sit and think about this movie. And it's not that kind of movie, but that's fine. I don't know if I want this movie to be that.
No, it's
it's
great
fine
how
the way
is.
It is. It feels very sincere.
Yeah.
All right, let's get started. What's our main character's name?
Noah, played by Daisy Edgar Jones, who I've seen a lot of reviews rightfully laud Sebastian Stan's performance, but I don't feel as though she gets enough credit. Especially,
she's really good in this.
Yeah, especially in the final act of the film, where her character has to do a lot of different layers of acting, and she pulls it off, and you can tell watching exactly what's going through her head. I think she's phenomenal. Haven't seen her in other stuff. She's pretty young. She's 23, I think, in this.
That's so crazy to me.
Yeah, but she was in a miniseries adaptation of Normal People, which is actually a book I read. It's an Irish book, and I think...
Isn't she Irish?
She's English. I don't know if for that miniseries.
Those are different, very different things.
I don't know if for that series if she had to do an accent or what, but
Yeah.
I enjoyed the book enough, so yeah.
Yeah. My first note is we got distracted briefly because a dog is here. There was a dog at our house when we were watching this. So I don't have notes for like the first 2 minutes.
She's on a date with Chad, which is you just
Of
need
course, Chad.
an asshole name. You give him Chad. He's a guy who wears a scarf and talks about how the women of their parents' generation used to dress up nice and care
Yeah.
about what they look like.
They go on like they clearly met on like a dating app,
Yeah.
like a
Tinder.
Yes,
is the name
Tinder.
of it. We have been together
Grindr or
longer
whatever.
than Grindr's the gay one.
I know, but I was
Okay.
just trying to name one.
Bumble is one where
Bumble.
women, I think, have the
Sure.
the go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have been together since before dating apps were popular,
Yeah.
and so we never experienced that.
Watching this movie is just an exercise in feeling grateful that I don't have to date online because
Yeah.
goddamn. Yeah, they met on an app and they go on a date to this Chinese place, and they must have had them kind of improv, I think, but it feels so real where they're
Yeah.
just awkwardly talking about how, oh, I love hot sauce. I put it on everything. Oh yeah, like hot sauce is great. Oh, wasabi's pretty good. It's just fuck, it's so brutal. Like where you just know you're on a date with someone and there's no chemistry, but they haven't done anything weird or bad. So you're just like, I gotta just ride this out, you know? Oh, it's so bad.
And that comes in to play later when she's with Sebastian Stan and they're a few drinks in and she's like, I hate this.
I hate
I hate
this.
dating and doing all the small talk shit. Like this movie is such a good look at how much dating sucks. I don't know how old their characters are.
I think she is supposed to be maybe late 20s.
So the real life ages is she's 23 and Sebastian Stan's 39. I think she's playing older. He's playing maybe a little younger.
Maybe a little
young, but I think
But
she's
he's a plastic surgeon, so maybe not.
you can be a plastic surgeon in your early 30s.
You
Like
think?
he's pushing 40. I don't think the character is.
He's got like not grown ass kids, but he's got like kids running around.
Oh,
You know,
that's
I
true.
think maybe
Yeah.
he might be.
But in any case, I don't think she is meant to be 23. I feel like she's more like a 27-year-old.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think we're supposed to get a sense of like, it's that weird age where as a woman you feel pressured to be with someone. So I think it's a late 20s thing.
And doesn't she say like she's been alone for a while and is like
Yeah.
used to it? I don't feel like someone who's fresh out of college is saying that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's so during this date, that's when Chad says something about like, I just think like women in our parents' generation cared more about how they dressed. And she's wearing like just very casual clothes. They're going to like a pretty casual restaurant.
She's in like a sweater or a hoodie or something.
And-
He's like, just think you'd look nice in a dress.
He says, I just think you would look nice in a dress. And it's very uncomfortable. And then he basically snaps at the waitress and is like, oh, quick, come. Oh my, he summons her like a fucking dog.
Insinuates that she doesn't understand his
Do you
English
have
because he got his
sparkling water.
Yeah, because he got his
Cling.
scarf in his noodles.
Oh, it's so bad.
The look the waitress gives Noah is fucking
Very
hilarious.
funny.
It's just a quick like knowing glance of like,
Brutal comedic performance by this woman.
yes.
Oh god. So they leave this restaurant and he's like, wow, this is great. Let's do it again sometime. And she's like, yeah, like I'm good. And then he does the classic, I was just being polite. You're not even my type anyway.
Yeah, stupid, you ugly bitch.
You're ugly bitch. I'm out of here. I was just being nice. Good. Yeah, he says good luck. So good luck finding a guy.
And then, of course, the very end, the last shot of the movie is him
texting her.
texting
Yeah.
her, being like,
You up?
You up?
It's great. Yeah. This is when this is kind of what I was talking about earlier, where she walks back to her car and it's down a dark alleyway and there's a guy in the background and we think and she thinks that maybe he's following her, so it's very tense. Then when this guy kind of walks into a street light, we see that he's carrying a baby. And
I love how it is the least threatening thing possible. Like, he could just smile at her, but then you still don't know. He has
a
a
man
baby.
with a baby is a very good
strapped to his
choice
chest.
for that.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of what else could you do, but a
Nothing.
man with a baby is
like walking a
the
dog
least-
is still not like 100%, but
Yeah,
like a baby
a
strapped to your
baby, yeah.
chest, you can pretty much trust that guy to
Yeah.
not be assaulting you.
This scene is very it's so relatable because that is, the majority of the time that as a woman you're walking around outside, and I hate walking around at night by myself. I really don't do it. I don't love it. And it's 99% of the time it's gonna be a guy with a baby right behind you. But you just live in fear of that, maybe that chance, and that's life, you know?
And when she sees the guy, she, I think, audibly calls herself like stupid, like, oh,
Yeah.
it's so stupid of me. And she blames herself also later on.
That I like that. Yeah, I didn't put that together, but now you pointing it out just kind of made a light bulb go off of blaming yourself when you are too careful
Yeah.
and blaming yourself when you're not careful enough. There's
Ooh,
never
yeah.
an instance where women feel like maybe we've done the right thing.
Yeah.
Like, and you're like, oh man, I'm an idiot. It was just a guy with a baby. He's stupid. But also, oh man, I trusted this guy and he took me to his cannibal dungeon. What idiot. I'm so stupid. Gee, I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
I like the inclusion of that scene a lot.
So she talks about her dating woes with her best friend, Molly.
Yeah, Molly. I think the biggest criticism I've seen of this movie, and I kind of have to agree, is that Molly, I think it's put in the black best friend box a little bit. It's kind of a bummer. Granted, as the movie progresses, we get more of Molly. I was a bit worried she just was going to be there to be a sounding board, and that would have stunk, but
She does take an active role. And so that the first time we watched it, like, by the third scene with Molly, I was like, oh man, this is how this character is. You know, like, it's played well. She's played well, Jonica T. Gibbs.
I like her a lot, and her wardrobe in this is outstanding. I was envious of every outfit she had on. I wish I could steal all her clothes.
But I felt like with the second viewing, I wasn't as upset about the character just because I knew that she would play an active role. But I have seen people complain about it, and, you know, like...
It's fair. I think it's a fair
criticism.
critique.
Yeah.
There's a version of this movie I would love where she becomes the main character after the title card drop.
Oh,
An hour,
sure, yeah.
Where it becomes her movie and she's trying to find her friend and like she is objectively the main character. It's a different movie.
She does get a lot to do, though.
Yeah.
Every time it cuts back to her, it reminds me of watching Attack of the Clones and Detective Obi-Wan,
It really is.
where it's like she's on this investigative sideline and you're really enjoying watching it.
Does that make Paul the like... When,
Dexter Jetster?
Yes. Oh my gosh, because it's like, yes, he's Dexter Jetster. Holy shit. Absolutely. Because it's like a diner situation.
Yeah.
I like
Wow.
that. I was going to say he's like the librarian that Obi-Wan talks to.
No, that would be the wife, maybe, because the librarian was mean.
Oh,
and she's like, if it's
yeah.
not in the archive, then it doesn't exist. But it did exist.
Oh, yeah. But her
Ooh.
husband does exist. I like this. I guarantee we're the first people on the planet that have made that parallel.
Paul the bartender is Dexter Jetster.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so the meet cute between Noah and Steve happens at a grocery store.
Yeah, and I wrote that this was rewarding to watch 2 times. I'm realizing I found so many little things that I just didn't pick up on the first time. One is the first part of the movie before we meet Steve. There's lots of food. They go out to get Chinese food. We have we get the scarf and the food. It's not like a nice food experience. Same with she's at home working on, I think she's an artist. She's like a graphic artist. She's working on something on her tablet and laptop. She's eating cheese puffs. She opens her fridge and it's empty. There's all these weird bad food experiences and scenes. And then when we meet Steve in the grocery store, that's when we have our switch in terms of how food is presented and how food is like talked about.
And that ties into at the end when he's saying like, oh, I bet you've never had anyone cook you anything.
Yeah,
And we do
exactly.
see at her home, she doesn't, her fridge is
Exactly.
empty. She's eating cheese puffs. Yeah. Yeah.
And I love too, a little touch that I think is so good is at the grocery store, the shot of her where she's standing next to the veggies. The sign for the deli area that says fresh meat on it is hanging right above her. It's
Yeah.
perfect. It's so perfect. So yeah, there's Steve there. It's very rom-com meet cute. He picks up this bag of grapes and is like, you ever tried these? They're cotton candy grapes, which I believe are real. I've never tried them before.
I've never
It
tried them
sounds
either.
Gross.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I want my fruit's already sweet enough. Doesn't need to taste like candy.
Yeah.
It's nature's candy.
It's funny. I thinking about like what else could that have been? You know, I wonder if that's kind of an intentional like it tastes like this, but it's actually this is kind of the tastes like chicken, but it's actually people kind of. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the idea of food being something and you realizing what it is,
Or
trickery.
being too unnaturally sweet,
Exactly. Yeah.
just like Steve.
Yeah, exactly. He's fake. Just like the cotton candy flavored grapes.
Science.
As an outsider, I'm like, I still think he's so corny. You know, he's charming, but his dialogue here is so corny. It's clear that he is trying to, you know, pick her up, but she's into it. And
I mean, we've seen her position,
seen her options,
and we can see what he looks like. So, you know.
And he talks about, he's like, oh, I'm on my way to visit my niece and nephew. And that instantly makes him less threatening. And there's something you trust about that, kind of like the guy with the baby. He immediately is talking about his younger family, and it's cute. And he's on his way to go see them, and
gets her number.
It's a reason why I like that we spend so long with him as a good guy. You are really put in her shoes, and I don't think you're ever thinking she's stupid.
Yeah.
You are on her side 100%. He plays the long game with his victims, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah, and she says after meeting him and talking to Molly about him that she was like, I didn't know people still met in person like that. So that's probably another thing that's appealing to her. This wasn't an app thing. It was like a natural.
A real, yep. I think that says a lot about Steve, that he completely understands what will get women to trust him and also what will appeal to women, specifically women around her age who live now. You know, there's something about the idea of meeting someone in person that is so appealing and so much more real. And he probably knows, just because she's a single woman in her late 20s, that she's dated a bunch online and it sucks. And he knows how to play exactly to that vulnerability.
Yeah, so they get drinks at a place where there's bartender Paul.
Bartender Paul,
back,
yeah.
And I feel like Noah has a familiarity with him. They're not friends, but she's probably gone to this bar before.
She just clocked, like, oh, hey, I know that guy.
And he, like, used to apparently hook up with Molly. We find out later, so she might know him through there. But, yeah, we immediately clocked that he ferrets out that she doesn't have any family.
Yeah, it's because, he asked, and she's like, yeah, I think, her parents are both dead? Or
I think
her mom?
The dad lives somewhere else and the mom died, something like that.
She doesn't have any close family.
Yeah, but as soon as you know that, it's like, uh-oh.
As soon as she said that, we both went, uh-oh. He says he works in reconstructive surgery, and he doesn't use social media.
Which Molly rightfully calls out later as a red flag.
Molly calls that out as a red flag, which is correct. And also, she's like, I bet he's married, which is correct.
Yeah.
Steve is unfortunately married, on top of unfortunately also being a cannibal who sells women's meat.
The conversation about how she hates dating is done in a really cool thing with mirrors that had me confused for a solid
There's a weird
minute.
shot that took me a minute to figure out what, because the perspective is so weird, but it's because one of them is in front of a mirror. And
well, they're sitting against a mirror wall, and
Yeah.
it's shot like one of them head on, the other through the reflection.
Right.
And I don't know if that's just having fun with that location, or, you know, the whole like it's not what it appears to be type situation. But
right. When they go back to her apartment, we've got another, kind of like what I was saying earlier. I think he knows exactly how to make a woman desire him and feel safe. He also says, is this too fast?
Yeah, he
And
stops.
He stops. And so it's another thing where he knows that that's going to make her feel a lot more
and she's the one who
comfortable.
prompts that they actually sleep together, where it's what she's like, can I get you anything to eat or
something to drink or eat, and he says, just you.
Yep.
And then they start making out. He also says he doesn't eat animals. No, he doesn't say he's a vegetarian.
You're right.
He says, I don't eat animals.
Yeah.
Which is very funny in retrospect. That's when he asks, hey, have you told anyone about me?
Yep. Clocking like how much has gotten out about him.
So that's when she mentions her friend Molly, who I don't think she had mentioned at all before. This is the first time. I bet he was surprised to learn, oh, she's got like a best friend.
He's like, tell me about Molly.
Yeah, and I think maybe he's kind of calculating, okay, how do I deal with the best friend? If I'm going to be texting her friend with her phone, how do I, how close of friends are they? What's their relationship? Kind of, how can I best imitate her on the phone kind of shit?
I love that because he doesn't use social media. Molly, earlier on when she asks about that, she's like, oh, what's his Instagram? I want to stalk him and see what he looks like. Because he doesn't, Noah takes a quick little picture of him in the morning when he's sleeping. Not a clear picture of his face, but it's to send to Molly. But it's like he wouldn't have allowed that picture to take place if he were awake. but that picture really drives Molly's investigative plot. It's like a piece of evidence to go off of. But I love that it's like, oh, what's his social media? He doesn't have one. And then it's like, okay, well, here's what he looks like.
Here's this, creeper picture while he's sleeping.
Yeah, she's like, I guess he's cute.
Like, I
he's
get,
stalker.
she says she's dickmatized. She's just right again because he has a surprise. He's going to take her away for the weekend. They're going to go somewhere. It's a secret and it's going to be fun and romantic. And yeah, Molly's rightfully saying, I don't like this. And where is he taking her?
God, it's Cottage Grove.
Cottage Grove.
Which I looked up. I don't know if it's what they're referring to. There's a few Cottage Groves in the U.S. There's one in Oregon.
Generic sounding.
So I don't know if there's a specific.
I'm not sure what city this is supposed to be in.
That's the thing is, you don't get a lot of detail. Like, you never find out their ages exactly.
I just imagined
it
was L.A. Because when they went out to dinner, she was like, I'm from the East Coast originally. And it would be a weird thing to say that. Yeah,
okay.
It'd be weird to say that if you were currently.
Well, then it could be Oregon.
Could be Oregon also.
Yeah.
But I just imagine them driving to like Big Bear or something.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. One of those getaways.
For all of our LA friends. So in the car when they're driving, he's like, actually, let's stop at my place first and we'll head out because traffic, whatever, some excuse about traffic.
Oh, maybe it is LA.
That's when maybe it is LA, yeah, for sure. That's when he's like, we're going to Cottage Grove, I'm sorry. And she tries texting Molly to tell her and the text doesn't go through because there's bad service. And he says, yeah, service pretty bad out here, but we'll have some when we get to my place and you can text her then. There's no Wi-Fi there.
Well, she asks about the Wi-Fi and he's just like, oh, must be out.
Must be out again.
And just like moves on. And she even clocks that as like
Yeah.
Her face changes after that.
Yeah. His house, by the way, I love this house. It's such a cool house. Where is this house? It's so beautiful. Like, I wonder how much of it was a set and how much is actually this house.
Well, obviously the holding rooms.
Those
are
have
going
to be
sets. But the house itself, like the kitchen and living area, that looks like a house.
The staircase looks like a real thing.
It's a cooler version. At least maybe it's not an accurate thing. I'm kind of reminded of the Invisible Man house.
I was about to say the same thing.
But it's like, it's a more...
This is a less cold version of that house. I'm trying to think of how to describe it. It's so pretty.
The living area is sunken. It's like
we got a conversation pit.
Yeah.
I normally don't like modern style houses, but this is the kind where I think it is like a late 60s maybe build. Is so cool. I love this house. And it works so perfectly for this character, especially when you contrast it with his other house. What a twist.
It's very suburban.
Yes, it's very like not McModern. It's very just kind of cookie cutter, like new build type house that is just very generic. And if I was his wife, I'd be bummed out I had to live in that house. But I guess the house that he takes all of his girlfriends to, not great for kids to run around in. There's a lot of edges, and the stairway, there's no railing on it.
Oh, yeah.
And also all the women chained up inside. You don't want your kids running around in there. He makes her drink, and he asks her, I made this like my own little special recipe. Taste like what, I want to know what flavors you can taste in it. And so she takes a sip, and she's like, nectar. He's like, close. I think it's nectar. I don't know. She guesses a bunch of different fruits, and he basically is like, no, try again, getting her to drink more and more so she can guess. And then she starts feeling woozy. I love how the shots of both of them get weird looking, especially him as
it's not because the shot of her is an objective shot from the side, and so that doesn't get messed up. And then the shot of him is head on POV from her, and it gets the chromatic aberration.
I wrote chromatic aberration in my notes. It's that, which is what when you get like the rainbow kind of on the edges, and it's all kind of like fuzzy a little bit. That's that chromatic aberration.
And the sound gets all distorted.
Yes, they put that they ran that through an equalizer and made it sound like he's in a bathtub or something. Or like your head's underwater or something, which I've only fainted once in my life, and that is what it sounds like. It's bad.
Yeah, she faints, and that's when we get the title card and opening credits.
Yeah, because he can see that she's getting woozy, and he's like, why are you sitting so far away? Why don't you come over here? And she stands up and just wipes out on the floor.
Oh, man. So
Roll
fucking
title
good.
Card.
Also, I just wanted to say that her line after she sees his house is really funny to me, that she says, I'm pancakes out of a bag, and your fancy cocktails, I'm pancakes out of a bag.
Yeah.
And that is as good a time of any to also just mention that it was written by Lauren Kahn, who I also don't know anything that she's done. It looked like she did one movie ahead of this that had Gillian Jacobs and some other very funny people. Vanessa Bednair, what's her name?
Is it Vanessa Bayer?
Yeah, I think she was maybe in it. But anyway, I just feel like I've seen a lot of horror movies lately that are written and directed by women, and I just think that's cool that like that wasn't as common 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And now I just feel like, and when we were talking about this, you were like, yeah, and they keep making really awesome ones, and that's true. They also keep making some bad ones that I've been watching, which is great.
Yeah.
We've always said like it sucks that when someone who doesn't traditionally makes movies, they become like this standard bearer for like, and if it's bad, people are like, well, that's why women can't make movies. It's great to have women be able to make awesome movies and bad movies.
I've always believed, I think since I've been in film school, I had this realization that true equality in the arts and movies is reached when, for example, women can make as many shitty movies as they possibly can and aren't then kept out of the industry because of that.
Yeah.
Oh, we've gotten some really great films from women, and they're kind of few and far between, but like, wow, we've gotten some really good ones. Like, yes, that is great. But when we start getting women who just churn out garbage and still keep getting employed, that's when I feel like we've really made progress. It's a very exciting thing.
Which is not the case with this movie.
No, not at all.
Very, very good filmmaking on this part. Yes, when she wakes up, she is chained inside a room, and he is looking like Ad Rock in the Body Movin' music video from Fatboy Slim, or Fatboy Slim remakes from Beastie Boys. He looks just like Ad Rock in that video. Whoever's editing this, probably Josh, please put a side by side.
Josh will know. This is a fucking nightmare, by the way. This whole scene, she wakes up, and she plays this so well because you can really see her go through the cycle of, where am I? Oh my God, I'm chained to the floor.
This can't be happening.
Is this a joke? Like, is this a weird sex thing? Wait a minute, this is like for real? He doesn't look like this is a joke. Oh my God, holy fuck. And like the evolution of her, you can really see the wheels turning, and it's so cool.
Yeah, she's so good in
She's really good in this movie. And it's, this scene is really scary. Just her realizing what's going on and him just straight up saying, I'm going to sell your meat. There are people who pay me a lot of money for it, for your meat, your hair, all that weird shit.
He's going to keep her alive as long as possible, so the meat is fresh.
That's the scariest thing, is it's not just, I'm going to kill you and sell your meat. It's, I'm going to be harvesting meat off of you, and I'm keeping you alive. It's so fucking scary. But if you behave, then maybe it won't be as bad. And it's so, she has a moment where she kind of isn't looking at him because I think she's just trying to like keep it fucking together, and it's the first time he ever yells at her, and it's so scary.
Yeah,
I wrote my notes. Why is he so hot? Sad face. Hey, want to talk to you about our first sponsor this week, Keeps. So there's a character in Fresh played by William Bello. He's the driver that we see very briefly, and this guy has hair down to his butt. If you recognize him, he actually was in Blood Quantum as Shooker. But yeah, he's got a head of gorgeous long hair, and I don't know, maybe you would also like to grow your hair down to your butt someday, but you suspect that you're maybe already starting to lose your hair. Actually, 2 out of 3 men will experience some form of hair loss by the time they're 35. There are only 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss, and Keeps offers both. Keeps offers a simple, stress-free way to keep your hair. You can do virtual doctor consultations with them and get medications delivered right to your door every 3 months. You don't even have to leave your home. Treatments start at just $10 a month, and Keeps offers generic versions too, so it's all really low cost. Discreet packaging if you want, and proven results. Keeps actually has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors. And again, this is hair loss prevention. Treatments can actually take 4 to 6 months for results, so act fast. If you would like to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/deadmeat to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's keeps.com/deadmeat to get your first month free. One more time, keeps.com/deadmeat. Our next sponsor this week is Dadgrass. Look, getting too high is no fun. It can be really scary. I hate it. It's never a good time. And maybe you've been curious about trying weed for its medicinal benefits, but are nervous about it being too strong. So much weed is nowadays. However, mellower vibes are a drop or a toke away with Dadgrass. Dadgrass is legal, organic, smokable hemp that relaxes your body and mellows your mind. Their 100% organic pre-rolled joints are very low in THC and high in CBD, so you get all the good benefits of CBD while keeping a clear head. They also now have CBD tincture. They were kind enough to send me some. I used it before bed the other night. It was really, really nice and smooth. Sometimes the tinctures taste weird, but Dadgrass's tincture is really nice tasting. All Dadgrass products are federally legal for ages 18 and over, and it ships right to your door anywhere in the US. So right now, Dadgrass is offering our listeners 20% off your first order when you go to dadgrass.com/deadmeat. Go to dadgrass.com/deadmeat for 20% off your first order. One more time, that's dadgrass.com/deadmeat. Our last sponsor this week is Fitbod. So I love working from home. Doing what we do is great. I never have to leave the house and I get to be very comfortable all day. But one of the problems that comes with is I can be pretty sedentary, and especially as I'm still pretty young, but I try to think about the future. I want to make sure that I'm staying active so I don't look back and get angry at my past self for just kind of sitting around all day. I found that to stay active, I really need some kind of tracking system to keep me motivated so I can look back and see how much I've done, maybe how much more I should be doing each week to keep up with my goals. Fitbod's a program that has an easy-to-use mobile app that gives you access to a personalized routine so you can start making progress on your goals wherever you are. You basically have 24/7 access to a personal trainer. I think a tracking program like this is the best way to make small daily changes, which is the best way to form long-term habits. And because you're going to change as you use Fitbod's algorithm changes according to you. It adjusts for you and it updates your fitness plan as you go. Personalized training like this can often be really expensive, but Fitbod is only $12.99 a month or $79.99 a year. However, if you want to try out Fitbod now, you can get 25% off your subscription or try out the app for free when you sign up now at fitbod.me/deadmeat. One more time, that is 25% off your subscription at fitbod.me/deadmeat.
When she is left alone, she meets through the walls another woman being held there named Penny, who does a lot of voice acting in this, but in the movie, but does eventually become a character. Spoiler. Penny is in mostly good spirits, even though she says, yes, she is being eaten. Mm-hmm. Later, she says that Noah says that she feels dumb for having slept with him, and Penny reveals that he did not sleep with her, or to the best of her knowledge, the other women in there. Yeah. And so that, I think that's the first indication that, maybe he did like Noah, and that there was something special about her to him, that she maybe isn't just another person that he's doing this to, because clearly he's done this a lot. Yeah. And the third woman being held there, named Melissa, is too far gone mentally to converse with the other ladies.
Yeah, we just hear her singing.
And it is her meat who we see him packaging and dancing to, because he includes a little picture of each woman. It's real gross.
What a pervert thing to do, where he has the little photo of them that he looks at while he's like tenderizing the meat and stuff.
To the beat. Beat the meat to the beat. Yep.
It's so funny, but it's so sick, and it's a that's the tone.
Dark comedy.
That's the tone that I just like when it's done well. It's the best. Mm-hmm. I love it.
It's a great montage. Him packing up that meat.
It's so goddamn good.
Yeah, there's some playing around with just bodily autonomy, I guess, and wholeness, because Molly's at work and a coworker's walking by with a mannequin.
I think Molly works in like fashion. I don't know if she designs stuff or what, or works for like a fashion magazine. It's not really made clear. It's fine. It doesn't need to be. But yeah, there's a woman carrying a mannequin with no head. There's like a fashion drawing on Molly's desk where someone's head's kind of scribbled out. So it's just, yeah, it's all these weird kind of visual jokes and like nods to just...
and audio, because like she's listening to a song that says something about piece of me.
Yeah.
I love that the text that Noah tried to send finally goes through to Molly saying like we're gonna go to Cottage Grove, and then Molly starts getting texts that we know are from Steve pretending to be Noah. And this is something I don't think you noticed the first time that we watched the movie.
I didn't. I don't know how I missed it.
Yeah. The first scene of this movie, before Noah goes into the date with Chad, she is talking to Molly.
Yeah.
And they say, I love you more.
Love you more.
And then I think we see them text it to each other.
Yeah, we see it a few times, that love you more. That's how they always end their conversations.
Yeah, which I love that it was done in a natural way like this. And then when Molly texts, I love you, she just gets a heart back. And that's immediately like, wait a minute. And then she takes an image that was sent to her purporting to be at Cottage Grove and puts it into Google image search and sees that it just came from a fucking website.
Sloppy work,
Steve. And awesome
really
work,
sloppy.
Molly. Love it. This is what I'm like, yeah, Molly.
This makes me wonder how he hasn't been caught. I wonder if it's truly just he got lucky in terms of all the other women he kidnapped really didn't have anyone who...
Penny says that she is also alone and doesn't have like family or friends, when Noah's like, someone has to be looking for you if you've been here.
Yeah.
So yeah, he might have just it's the power of loving friendship that takes him down between Noah and Molly.
But I'm just like, man, like go in your backyard and take a picture of a tree or something instead of it's something you can reverse Google. Sloppy. Yeah, he's packing up all these boxes, by the way, of all this meat for this cannibal society. There's all these symbols all over the boxes it's like a goat, and I think he has like a watch or something with the...
He has like a figurine or like a statue in his house that's like this goat. I guess it's
it might be one of the clients that had a watch with the goat.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, we get little glimpses of the clients on occasion, just in little montages. We never are actually with them, but we get like glimpses when he feeds Noah some meat. It's like glimpses of them also eating, as though she's being connected to them that way. I love that one of the clients is a guy with like, what's the...
Oh, like an oxygen like he's got like tubes in his
It's like an old guy who looks like he's on his deathbed. It made me think of Squid Game. And how some of like the most powerful evil people are like these old people who like they don't even have a life ahead of them, but they're just so old and powerful and rich that they're just doing whatever they want and can.
Yeah, and it's also just the idea of when you're that old and that rich, like you can have anything and nothing stimulates you anymore. So that's when you're drawn to like, it is truly the stuff that no one else can have, is the really fucked up shit that you can pay a ton of money for. Noah asks for a shower, and he asks her to smile for him in return.
Her smile that she gives
is
truly
so Joker
unsettling.
shit. It's like Joaquin Phoenix doing the like the Joker smile in front of the mirror. Like same vibes.
He like sure. and then he laughs at it, and it's a very uncomfortable scene.
She's like, can I go take my fucking shower? He walks her to the shower, and she's instantly looking. Okay, there's a window here. There's a corner here. Like, how can I work my way out? I think she sees blood on.
Yeah, she does see blood on the corner. And she tries to get away. And nope, definitely not. And then he knocks her out. She wakes up in the surgery room.
It's fucked up, but it's also, it made me laugh so hard both times, because he goes, "I'm taking your ass, Noah," and she's like half awake on the table, and he's like, "No," and
he's like, "Yes,
yes."
There's a shot of him in her pupil, like, that's so good.
It's scary, but also so. I'm sorry, just him. "I'm taking your ass."
And how do you take an ass?
I have a lot of questions about how this works.
I guess he's just taking the ass, but like then what happens when she sits? Because it stretches.
Yeah.
That's why the ass is there, so it can stretch when you sit.
Oh, I hear the cat.
All right.
Okay.
You keep talking
about the ass.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder if he's just taking like the fatty parts of the butt and not the muscle, because that is the part that would taste the best, because it's not getting like worked. That's why you know, like fatty meat tastes really good. It's not like overly muscular. Come on, Lucy, you gotta make a choice. You wanna be out there, you wanna be in here? Oh my gosh.
Make a choice, Lucy.
Come on, Lucy.
Just come in.
Please come in.
Come be on the show.
Hi, honey. Or I can take her. There she is.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, then don't ask to come in if you don't want to hang out.
Thank you for being patient. Now she wants to leave.
Now she wants to leave.
There she goes.
I don't know if the fatty part is going to taste the best because later he serves boob and it looks gross.
Oh, it looks so bad.
And I'm just thinking of meat when it's all fatty. Like, no, that's gross. I don't know. Gressel would know.
Gressel would know.
He takes her ass.
He takes her ass and he's like singing and the music is so loud and he's reflected in all these mirrors and it's just a lot going on.
He's singing very poorly.
Yeah. God, I have cat hair all over my face now. It's like stuck to my lip gloss. How did she walk around the rest of this movie?
I don't know how long she's there for, but she does struggle for the next few scenes. She's crawling a lot. We get some nasty shots of bloody panties when she's going to pee. So, yeah, she's having issues, but yeah, by the end of the movie, she is running around again, and I'm like, that ass healed fine.
I don't know. I have too many questions about the logistics of the ass being taken. I'm sure other people who watch this also have the same questions. Should tweet at the writer.
Yeah.
Be like, what's exactly happening here?
Also, I wonder if he regretted it later.
I think 100. You have to.
Taking that ass.
Taking that ass.
Molly tries to enlist Paul the bartender for help because they used to hook up and Noah had mentioned that he was the bartender, so she's trying to get Steve's info from him. Eventually he relents.
Like credit card, like name from a credit card, whatever. And at first he doesn't want to because he's like, I'll lose my job, which is fair. But yeah, he finally relents and Molly uses that to look up Steve on Facebook.
And though he does not have a Facebook account, his wife does, which I'm wondering how he allows that to happen.
Again, it's sloppy.
Yep, and there's a picture of their family together in front of their house, and his wife is like, just moved home. Yeah. So again, not sure if Steve would allow this to happen, but it fuels the very enjoyable Molly investigative plot. So she goes to that house and intelligently does the find my fam type thing, like from Scream, to Paul in case anything happens so that he can track the location of her phone before she goes up and confronts the wife of Steve / Brendan, as his name is.
Very like Rose Byrne looking woman. I could just see Rose Byrne playing a funny version of this woman.
A funny version,
yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And at this point, it's weird because we don't know if the wife knows about his weird business. Like, is this a secret? Because they're in different houses, so how hidden is this from her?
And she's like, I don't even know if that's my husband because his picture is of a guy sleeping.
Yeah, it's a weird picture, and well, you know, why don't you just go to the police? It's like the second time someone has told Molly, like, just go to the police. Steve comes home, like, in the middle of this conversation and introduces himself as Brendan. So I guess Steve is actually his middle name. He's like, Brendan Steve, something. And he's like, oh, you know, I hope you find your friend. And Molly decides, and it's smart, but also
the timing
was
not
bad.
Great.
She could have waited until she got outside to do this. She calls Noah's phone and
it rings in Steve's
Steve
pocket.
has it.
Loved the reaction of him taking it out and being like, "Oh, it's you." Very chilling.
He said you shouldn't have done that, and
then Anne
the
knocks
wife,
her out.
Yep, knocks Molly out. So the wife's in on it. They even later are like, good teamwork today.
Yeah, at their separate mirrors in the bathroom.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Noah, apparently Steve has brought her some magazines to peruse.
Yeah.
And while she's going through magazines, one of which on the cover, it's like tips for women. It's like smile more to get men to like you. She's flipping through it and she finds a note written in one of the pages that says, if you're reading this, it means he likes you. I think it's like, don't give up, keep fighting, from like some woman whose name we don't recognize.
Sammy, who she later sees her belongings in his creepy cubbyhole.
Yeah.
And he gives her the magazine that after we hear the scene between her and Penny where we find out that he didn't sleep with the other. So it's like, that's when we realize, oh, maybe he did like her. So he is having some favoritism towards her, giving these magazines. And then she gets verification from a message in the magazine from a previous victim who says, like, if you're reading this, he likes you, keep fighting, sending my strength. And that really makes her decide like, oh, maybe I can get through this. And that's why the next scene that she has with him, she asks, how's it taste?
Yeah.
And she starts to, like how we said how he knew exactly how to get in with her, like at the grocery store. Now she's turning it around and knows exactly how to get him intrigued and interested in her again.
Well, it's kind of that tip that women always get, like how to get a man to like you. Be interested in his interests, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's what she's doing, is she's asking, oh, what does people taste
Just like when you watch wrestling with me.
Exactly. So I think Steve's a bit taken aback, and he's like, I think he's surprised that, and he maybe doesn't even know what to do with that for a little bit, and just she catches him very off guard. There's another scene back at the house where it's Steve and his wife in front of separate mirrors, and so she's getting ready for bed. That's when we realize the wife is missing a leg. So we take this to mean that she escaped.
One of his captives,
she was one, and she got him to like her and married him and is now in on it, which is an interesting, I think it's kind of like so Ready or Not, when we reviewed that, we talked about how the staff in that movie, there's especially the one guy, the like butler, is like so insistent on helping them, the rich family, even though it's like, dude, like why are you helping them? You're not one of them. You're one of the poors. And it's a similar thing here where it's like she is part of the quote unquote system now.
Or at least benefiting from it.
Right.
As is. Yeah.
Yeah. And it just reminds me of how like a Phyllis Schlafly, right, is someone I think of, like conservative activist Phyllis Schlafly, who was very like anti-feminist and very much like about the traditional role of the woman in the household. And she is someone I think of, and someone like this character, where you might think that by thinking that way or acting that way, you get the men around you to like you, to even promote you to certain places of power, like she was able to become his wife and not one of his victims anymore. But she's still always gonna be his victim. Like, he took her leg. It's like you might think that by buying into it, or that by working with it, you make yourself immune to it, or that you're not affected by it, but you are.
I like the cut from her prosthetic leg to his legs running down the street, just showing that he is whole of body and like running real fast. Like, that is not a jog. Just the contrast.
Yeah.
They're both ostensibly on the same level in this situation, but obviously they are not, because he has both his legs and she does not, because of him.
He's literally feeding on women and is energized. He's like, when you see him running, he's burning calories that he has gained through eating women, and they're literally making him what he is.
They're fueling him.
They're fueling him. It's so fucked.
So they have, he has dinner with Noah and makes her a little human meatball on spaghetti. That's when he tells her the whole story about how he got into this business, how he got into this trade.
Yeah, he tried eating human when he was 19, and then he found other people who like eating people. And I wrote his quote down here, because this is what I was talking about earlier, where it's like oh God, like what a jerk. just jerking off while he's telling this story, where he goes, it's about giving yourself over to somebody. Become one with somebody else forever. That's a beautiful thing. That's surrender. That's love. Dude, you eat people.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, cool, dude. You just eat people. You chain women up in your house and eat them. It's like, get over yourself.
He says his clients are the 1% of the 1%, that there's nothing they can't afford. They just want, what they can't have, which is women specifically, he says.
The market, it's all women.
Yep, and they taste better, but probably don't taste any different. It's just probably a power thing there. And this is the first of two dinners that they have together where her acting is just so good, because her character is just trying to be charming so that she can win his favor, but underneath that, she's terrified. The way that her acting works so well with the camera, of when she's looking around at everything and all the things that she might be able to use, the knives and the edges and the tools and everything. It's just so good. And this is when that Radiohead cover is going on in the background. I love it.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah, me too. He says, this meal It's about $30,000.
Yeah.
That's a lot, especially since it's a meatball. It's not.
It's a
there's
fucking
like
meatball.
It's meatball. Like a meatball is like meat, but there's other stuff in it.
And it's ground up. Yeah, I was saying like
just straight up like human meat,
like
just
a steak.
Yeah. Gotta be real expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I bet the closer it is to resembling a human still, the more expensive that's gonna be. And he says, you know how I knew you were special? Because you're fucked up too. And then she, as soon as she gets put back in her cell, she throws up, understandably.
Yes, gets rid of all that.
Yep.
Doesn't want to eat it.
Steve puts Molly in a cell.
Yep. So Melissa's gone now, I guess. I don't know if it was confirmed that there's only room for 3 women, but
I think that there's 3.
Okay.
But
they say like that didn't sound like Melissa. Sounds like a new person.
So why would?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's Molly, and he's taking her to the operating room, and we learn later it's to take her boobs, her breast meat, for another dinner with Noah. I like the scenes that we see of his wife Anne getting texts from him about like, oh, I have to stay late, and you can tell she's suspecting something because she was able to get him to fall in love with her. I'm sure she knows the possibility is there for that to happen again.
Dude, her fucking replacement, dude. I just realized I bet she's thinking like, if this happens, I'm just getting thrown back in there.
Yeah.
If I get replaced. And again, that's what I mean is like, as much as if you're a woman who thinks like I'm beyond this subordination, and if I work with it, then I can become removed from it. But no, you're just gonna get thrown back into this fucking dungeon when the men who you think are on your side just stop giving a shit about you.
For the second date, that's when he brings her a dress and says, maybe you can freshen up. Here's a dress for you to wear. I think you'll look nice in it.
He does the classic. I tweeted about this trope, and I want this has to have a TV tropes page, and if it doesn't, that's a huge oversight. But they don't have the oversights. Man specific. It's always like a man giving a woman a dress and being like, "Wear this to join me for dinner." And I asked,
someone point out Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast. Pretty Woman, I think, does it. Legend. A lot of Parts of the Caribbean is the one I remembered with Elizabeth and in the first movie. But yeah, God, this dress is awful. It's pink. That's what she says. She goes, it's pink.
Yeah.
I think it's so funny that this is such a dress that this guy would have picked out, not really knowing about fashion or caring that much, but just looking at it and thinking, it's pink and has a bow.
Yep.
Women like this.
Yeah,
and picking
that's
it
lady
out.
stuff.
It's lady stuff. She's about this size. Yeah, I'll go for this. Yeah.
It's awful.
It's really bad. I like that he doesn't think to get her shoes because she just puts on like these nasty looking Converse.
He also doesn't think to handcuff her or bind her in any way because he's just so fucking smitten with her.
He's so enamored, yeah. Oh, she's practicing smiling for him too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He's showing her his little, his creeper cubby hole where he keeps all the belongings of the women he kidnaps, and she notices Molly's phone, which you made a good point of why we recognize it.
I love this little bit of, I don't know if this would have been a props department thing, like a set deck thing. So Molly's phone, we see it earlier on Molly's desk at work when she picks it up, and I love that the cover, there's still cat hair all over my face. The cover of her phone has like this drawing of a person on it. It's like a woman with like a red mask or something.
It looks like the Remain in Light album cover.
It
Talking
does
Heads.
a little bit.
That's what I thought of. I was like,
it kind of does. And I love so much that it is a person's face, because as humans, we are like programmed, like our brains recognize people. Like it's why people find images of Jesus in toast
or in
like
the wall.
Yeah, we have like I hate that I had to cover it up, but in the new wood paneling on the set, there's like a face on it, and I love it, and I'm sad that it's like hidden now. But the fact that you are supposed to notice her phone later, I love that it's a human face because your brain just clocks it, and it's so noticeable, and so when you see it later, you remember that that's her phone. I just think it's clever set decoration that's like relying on human psychology to enforce a plot point.
Yeah.
It's
and
cool.
then after she sees that phone cover, then that's another layer that she has to act And it's everything from before, but also now knowing that her best friend is there somewhere and in danger because of her.
There's a lot going on here. This dinner scene is so good, and it's where I think I was the most impressed by her acting.
Yes.
There's a lot. One, it's just she's on a bad date, essentially, where it's just making weird small talk.
She's making jokes to make him laugh. Puns. He saved the breast for last.
Yeah.
He loves that.
Oh, yeah.
He loves that she can apparently get over all of this and still find him attractive. You know,
and that must make his ego go insane.
Because he's just like, I think one of the first things he says to her is stop being so dramatic after he ties her up. Like, he just wants he wants her to be able to handle it. He wants her to be a cool girl.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. For sure. That's what I mean by the pick me girl, where it's like, no, I think what you're doing is great, and I'm here along for the ride, and you're so smart and handsome, and this is really cool and fun. I love all your interests, you know?
Yeah.
And I think this is where I think he differs from Patrick Bateman, because Patrick Bateman feels nothing. Patrick Bateman is like a shark of a human, and just it has no emotion, no love, no anything. He says so in a lot of his monologues. Like, he just is a husk of a person. Whereas this character, I think, feels things as much as he can. He cares about people to an extent. He has romantic feelings for people. I think also part of the reason he tells her stop being so dramatic is he, at a certain level, knows what he likes is wrong, and he knows that eating people is wrong. He likes it, and it's his thing, and I think he just wants everyone around him to reinforce that. And when you have a woman especially judging you, it's really gonna harsh your mellow. But I think he loves having this woman that he's into around him, reinforcing like, no, this is fine. You don't need to feel guilty. You don't need to feel bad.
And that's why she cries, and you don't know if that's legit or an act. It could be both. It could be her crying legitimately and then parlaying that into a line about how she feels guilty that she doesn't feel guilty. I don't believe that for a second.
Yeah.
I think that Noah, the character, does feel guilty. We saw her throwing up the meat.
Yeah, and I think she maybe understands that too about I think she really gets that he desires to not feel guilty. And I think she picks up on that and then uses that as like I feel so bad that I don't feel guilty, giving him permission to not, and knowing that he's going to feel such a powerful way about that, like, oh, this is the person I need to, and reinforce the desires I have in a way that doesn't make me feel bad. And so she's disgusted with herself, she's disgusted with him, she's play acting to survive a shitty date, she's play acting to actually survive this situation, she's play acting to probably planning like what she's gonna do to get out of here, and how she's now gonna go rescue the two other girls that are here. I do think she would have done that anyway, at least gone back for Penny. For
sure.
But she knows exactly how to push all his buttons, kind of like he did in the first half of the movie. And this is like just desserts a little bit. And
just like he played the long game with her, she's playing the long game with him. I love how long it goes on where you're like, when's she gonna do something? I thought the first time through when he's like, oh look, I forgot to handcuff you. And she's like, I guess you did. Yeah. It's like, is this it? No, now they're fucking dancing together. What? Like,
well, you just made me realize this is such a good mirror of the first part of the movie, because the same moment where in the first half she goes, can I get you something to eat or drink? And he goes, no, just you. And you think for a moment, oh my God, is he gonna? But then they dance instead.
They do
and
dance.
It's the same thing here where you think, oh, this is it, but they dance, and it's like this drawn out thing.
Yeah,
it is such a good
reflection
of the first part of the movie. So good. Love this. I count this as a dance third act climax.
Okay.
I love me some dance as movie climax. Like,
I told you, I think this is going around the old talk.
We gotta do this dance on TikTok.
Yeah. I noticed she has to do more, as is usually the case with the woman in the dance. So I think I can handle the more simplified male version that he's doing.
Yeah.
She's doing a lot with her hands.
And lack of ass. There's no ass.
He's got to be regretting that right now.
I know.
Because she takes him to bed.
Yeah, and she's got to go to the bathroom and freshen up. And he, unlike earlier where he was like, I will escort you to the shower and bathroom. This, he's got his guards down. He's about to get his dick sucked.
Yeah.
So he lets her go to the bathroom where she grabs some toothpaste.
And then, God, it's obvious, but it's so perfect.
It's perfect.
That
I don't
she
care
bites
if
his
it's
dick. I don't know if she bites his dick off. The Wikipedia was specific about her biting off his testicles.
Ooh.
I don't know if she just took a bite and didn't amputate anything, but whatever. It's so thematically appropriate.
The dick coming off.
If that had been the case, I kind of want to see a shot of that dick on the floor. But actually,
like in Teeth?
Yeah.
Where she
Ooh.
queefs out the dick on the floor.
But like for as dark and as kind of graphic as this movie is, most of the violence is done in very quick cuts.
Yeah, and it's weird because then there's the scenes of him like prepping meat, which is gross, but it's like
it's meat.
It's right.
It's detached meat.
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
The most graphic thing happens at the end when she kills him. It's just
Yeah,
a full on, and
for
you're just
sure.
fucking thrilled about it.
Yeah, so she bites his. I choose to believe she bit his dick off, because also it's just the idea of like her removing something from him is good too.
Exactly. It's so appropriate that she gets
She
back at
bites
him
it
and
up.
turns the tables by eating his flesh.
Yeah.
You know. And then there's a great shot of her like coming at the camera with toothpaste in her hands, blinding him temporarily.
Splits in his eyes. I
then-
wrote, good for her. She goes back for the others. We got women saving each other. Great.
I wrote women saving women.
Women
yep.
getting it done.
Yeah, they're fighting in the kitchen when he catches up with them, and this is a scene where they get him down, and I'm just like,
Kill him.
fucking kill him.
It is one of my issues with this. It's like
There are a couple of scenes of them like,
they gotta just kill him.
just gotta fucking kill him.
You got him. Like,
The
let's.
fucking tenderizer's right there. Just
I
one more to
know.
the head, you know?
I do like that this fight scene. There's no music.
At first.
And at first,
It
yeah.
comes in later,
But then the editing and sound is so good. Like the sound design, when you realize there's no music, there has to be something filling all that space, and all the Foley and sound is really, really nice.
And there's more biting. Oh yeah, when we finally see Penny, this is another thing. She's just missing one leg. And it sounds like she's been there for a
got,
long
like, a
time.
bandage around her head. I just feel, she should be like just a little more fucked up.
Yeah, like I was half expecting like a Johnny got his gun situation, but
Oh,
I'm
shit.
glad that it's not that bad because that would be really dark. But in any case, I expected her to be more beat up than just a single leg half missing.
Yeah.
Because it sounded like she had been there a long time, being slowly eaten, but whatever. It's nice that it's not too dark because Penny gets saved, and so does Molly and Noah. They all make it by saving each other, which is nice, and they're all collaborating in this fight against him. She's crawling over, biting or stabbing him, biting him. Molly's kicking him.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Paul's on the way.
Oh yeah,
Remember Paul?
Yeah, remember Paul because he did notice that Molly's phone was up in like the Ozarks or whatever, the fucking
wherever
forest,
he is,
and he like drives up there. I love that the captions say reggae music playing. That is not reggae.
It's not yet.
But he gets there. And as soon as he gets out of the car, that's when Steve is finally gets a gun and is
His
coming
face
after
is
them.
all fucked up,
And-
and he's waving this gun around and shooting it, and he's yelling, "You pussy ass fucking bitches!" And I love it. And then Paul's like, well, "Bye." He gets
Yep,
back
Paul
in the
gets
car.
in his car and
because we
leaves.
don't survive this movie.
Yeah, you've seen this movie. You don't survive, and that's the end of Paul. And like,
I love it.
It's funny. It kind of paints Paul in a bad light, I guess. But like, this movie can't have a guy come save the day.
No.
It can't.
And it's also making the point that like it's the importance of women looking out for each other, because sometimes you can't trust that men around you will do the right thing, or men often will like turn the other way because it's easier to just pretend something isn't happening
Sure, yeah.
when it doesn't affect you.
Because yeah, he hears
personally.
gunshots and "I'm gonna kill you, bitches," and
And to be fair, yeah, fair. It's fair to see Sebastian Stan running out with the gun, and it's like, all right, I don't know. I'm gonna get someone who's maybe more capable of handling this than me personally. But I think just metaphorically, it's that idea of like being on your own so often in situations like this.
there's chasing and whatnot through trees and the woods a little bit, and I don't know all the beats of the fight, but eventually she gets the upper hand with the gun.
Yep, she shoots him in the head.
She says, "Give me a smile."
smile.
And he does, and then she fucking shoots him in the head.
That's-
it's
yeah.
brutal and cathartic.
Yeah, that's when the wife shows up with the driver who just disappears into
from
the
movie.
mist. I don't know where that guy
what
goes.
happened with that guy. I don't
That
know.
guy just is like, oh, I guess I'm not getting paid anymore, and walks into the woods.
Yeah, but the wife finds the body because the women have gone off, and the wife finds Steve's body,
Yes.
and it's like,
This
get
is-
it on ice.
This is an interesting moment where you're wondering, okay, now how is she going to react? Is she happy
free?
because
Yeah.
she's free, or is she so in on it?
I think that her lifestyle depends on this
I think
income,
yep.
which is why she's like, get his body on ice. We'll just use this meat and sell it and keep this thing going. And I guess I'll be the one in charge. Now I don't have to worry about him doing all this. Hilarious fake acting when she comes across Noah, who comes back for her phone. And the
oh my
wife,
God, you killed him. We're free. Oh, you
we're
did
so
it.
good. And it's like, who is this very well dressed, like
Perfect hair, makeup. It's so funny. With
full body, like no bandages?
Yeah, wasn't here this entire time, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, you did it!
Thank God he's finally dead. We're free.
This
And
is
then just
so
immediately goes to choke Noah.
Yeah. She to me is like the, again, because of the way her character functions as like allegory, I guess. She's a reminder that you can't always count on other women either, where it's like, yes, the point of Paul turning around and then just, leaving is sometimes you just have to, like, women have to look out for themselves and other women, but also women aren't a monolith, and there's bad women.
And that's what Molly says when she comes by to save Noah. She's like, women like you are the problem, she says.
Right,
as
yeah.
she gets, and I love that Noah is the one who gets to kill Steve, and Molly is the one who ultimately kills the wife, Anne, because earlier she was the one who got betrayed by Anne after going to her for help and asking, like, woman to woman, can you please help me, and getting locked out by her.
And also she's kind of like I think there's this idea that I find very sexist, where it's like, well, if women get opportunities to be in power, things wouldn't be as bad. But I think this character is the illustration of the idea that, like, no, you'll just end up with just as evil women in charge, pretty much, if those opportunities exist, because women are people also. You know what I mean? Oh, so that's when Molly just wrecks this woman with a shovel.
Oh yeah, it's with a shovel.
It's so brutal. And then Noah goes, who the hell was
Yeah,
that?
she didn't even know her.
And Molly goes, Steve's wife. And Noah just, what?
He's married? Was married.
Was married. And that's when they say, love you more, and it's cute. And we got yeahs playing us out.
Fuck
To the
yeah.
credits.
Hell yeah, Karen O.
We get a text from Chad asking if you up.
Apparently there's a mid-credit scene
Yeah,
that
we missed
did
this.
not see either time we watched, of just some of Steve's clients eating. Maybe they're eating... No, wouldn't be him. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe a previous delivery.
Maybe they are eating it. I don't know. We didn't see the mid-credits scene.
Yeah.
I don't know how we missed that boat.
And I did notice that the end of the credits has in memory of Bill Terazakas, a very talented makeup artist who I've mentioned on the Kill Count before, who passed away in 2021. So
Yeah.
I don't know what his connection to the movie was, or maybe if the makeup artist for this movie studied under him or whatever, but
Yeah.
it was nice to see. That's fresh.
I like this movie. I like it even more discussing it and realizing how many cool things there are that, like, just really thoughtful things placed throughout this script, both like within the script and then visually too. That's like, this is a very, it's just really good. It's a solid movie.
Very solid, and I hope that we see more from Mimi Cave, the director. Would love to see more. Like, good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Definitely check it out. It's on Hulu, like we said, and yeah, early contender for solid horror. Like, we're already off to a great start with horror this year with Scream, this, X. Good stuff, man. We got more coming too. All right. Next, a week from today is when an American Psycho kill count comes out.
It's a week from today.
Of when this comes
Oh
out.
my God, when this comes
Not,
it was like,
not right now as we're filming. No, we'd be
Jesus.
fucked.
We'd be so fucked. Okay.
No, from when they're seeing this and listening to this, assuming it's the first day, a week from it is the American Psycho kill count.
I'm so excited.
Yeah,
It's such a good script.
It's very good. Thank you. Oh yeah, that's the first script from new hire at Dead Meat, Tim Choi.
God, thank you, Tim.
Tim wrote it. I did a pass. Chelsea did a pass. It's the first time that you'll have a collaborative kill count script.
Yeah, it is really collaborative.
It's very fun. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. What else we got?
Can't think of any urgent upcoming anything.
We'll have some supercuts for you since it's the year anniversary of Dead Meat. Every new year we get some like to the numbers supercut. You're in a lot of these to the numbers from this past year.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm like, I've been in so many little bits.
Sub-Zero and the you were the zombie in Dawn of the Dead with the gun. You were in Hellraiser
2.
when you were all bandaged up. You did not like that.
Oh, I hated that.
Yeah.
I hated it. It just was so tight, and it was like really, I mean, it was like medical bandages, and it was so like not flexible.
No.
It felt bad to be in.
Yeah.
I couldn't breathe very good. Never again.
Oh, you juggle?
I juggled.
You're in it a lot. It's great. Yeah. And what's your favorite scary movie? We'll be coming back this month too. Oh man,
that's gonna be
with the AEW
guys,
wrestlers.
You don't even know. So many cool wrestlers. I'm very jealous.
So yeah, fun stuff on the channel, man.
But yeah, I guess until next week, thank you all for watching social media.
Oh yeah, Dead Meat James on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
And I'm at Carebec, Carebecc. Did I say Carebecc on Twitter and Instagram. And if you want merch, deadmeatstore.com.
And email deadmeatpod@gmail.com just to tell Chelsea she's doing great.
Yeah.
And that rainbow shirt looks real cute on her.
Thank you.
But don't be weird about it.
Don't be weird.
Don't talk
Again,
about
I can't respond to most emails anymore. There's too many of them. But I appreciate your emails anyway. I like seeing them.
So until next time, I'm James.
I'm Chelsea. And this has been the Dead Meat Podcast.